I mean, it's really interesting to see how the schedule changed because I tell you what, it was real nice going into week 7 and 8 when we were always 7-8-0. That was a lot of fun. That was fun football.
Can you get the strongest schedule possible? You got to take into consideration some of the opponents that you're playing. Some of it's a little bit more business related, but at the same time, you're looking at it going, okay, well, this opponent adds to our strength of schedule. Does it put you in harm's way? Yes, but if you find a way to get some of those wins, then it gives you a great chance at the end of the season to make sure that you can earn a playoff spot.
All right, so Coach Jordan, welcome back to the OneDog Podcast. Great to have you. You are the first repeat guest.
Ah, nice.
Coach Reich's going to be number 2. He's going to be real disappointed to be in your shadow this time. But you're getting ready to go into fall camp.
Yep.
First season, head coach.
Yep.
You've gone through a spring. You've gone through recruiting. You've got your feet under you since last time we talked. What's it been like kind of taking over, and how's it been so far?
It's been great. I mean, a lot of the newer things that I've had to take on from an administrative side, that's kind of the piece that you wonder a little bit about every day. It's what haven't I done yet? What's coming up that I don't know that's coming up? Right now we're in the final stages of getting the final pieces done for reporting to camp. There's a lot of little administrative things that you have to do there with, okay, did we alert the dining hall? How many people are coming? Does everybody have a room? Does everybody know to travel at the right time? So those things have been a little nerve-wracking at times, sitting back in the bed going, okay, what did I not think of today?
Right.
But the football stuff is the football stuff. I think, having an experienced staff with Mike Long as the offensive coordinator, Travis Knight being here for a bunch of years, Nick Ulasson, who's been here for a while. We have some newer staff members, but we have enough of the core that's been here for a long time. So I feel pretty good about, okay, when we get on the practice field, it'll be like it was in the spring. Spring was great. We had the scrimmage against Johnson C. Smith. I thought that was fabulous.
That was super cool. That's the first time we've done like
first time
team.
ever. Yep, first time ever. The NCAA actually allowed it for the first time at the Division II level that you could play an outside opponent. So you had the ability to do either a real game or in our case with myself and Coach Flowers, we elected to do an NFL style combined practice. And I thought it was a neat setup. I thought the spectacle of it was great. It's something that a lot of families and kids and parents don't usually get to see unless you're a big NFL practice person. And so I thought we had a good time with that. Got a lot of reps. Everybody got on the roster, got some reps. So it was fun. We had a good time.
And usually when you do these inter squad scrimmages by the end of spring, if you've played football before, they get a little rowdy by the end. You're hitting the same guys over and over. So having new faces and different defenses and offenses to hit it, makes it a little more interesting.
It does.
You don't get as disappointed with the other guys.
Yes. Yes. You're not fighting your brother every day,
Yeah.
And I think that was a great part about it too, is then it actually gave us 2 opportunities because we had the scrimmage with Johnson C. Smith. Then we also had our scrimmage against ourselves. So it actually increased your experience level for some of your younger players. So I thought it was perfect.
So leading into this year, was there all of your recruiting pretty much? No, you guys pretty much recruit through the summer because you're kind of waiting. So how did kind of recruiting go through the summer for you?
Well, recruiting's it's somewhat normal. There's a lot of changes with the portal. The high school phase of what we do, which we're a high school recruiting program. That was pretty much normal. We identified our prospects back in May of last year. The guys that we got on the road and went and seen and spoke with, we were able to get those guys in January, get them in official visits, get them signed on the signing day. Then the next phase shows up. Okay, which of the guys that are on your team in January are not on your team come May? And then you have to go back and now say, okay, which of those positions do we need to go back to the portal and try to find some guys that can help us out from an experience standpoint. So we ended up bringing in 3 or 4 guys, this summer into the program. So that was a process. You got to start that process with them about late April, early May, and then you're working it right up until you get them into summer school. So it's turning into a year-long cycle now. We just got informed today they're changing all of the rules
again, always.
So it's going to be, adapt and figure out, where's your niche going to be in this whole situation. And, it's what's not always the strongest to survive, but it's the most adaptable. So
I always find it so interesting talking to you guys not as a player to coach, as an alumni to coach. You guys have a lot more business savvy and knowledge than you would think. It's like, oh, it's a football coach. Like, no, you guys are running a true business because the things you say are the same things, like recruiting good employees.
Yeah.
How many stay with you that you retain? How do you retain them to make sure that they're happy? All of these things you're saying, it's like, well, this is business world. It's just, you get to do it with like playing football.
Yeah. I mean, if you think of 365 days of the year, we're only playing 11, so, and there's practice, 3 days a week of, during the season where, you got maybe 77 to 100 days of, you're doing football. But even between those points, you're still handling a lot of business related matters. So, it was funny when I first got started and my wife and we were getting together and we were starting to go down and see her parents. They'd be like, so he coaches football in September.
What else does he do?
What else does he do? And that was, and a lot of times it was like, so what else does he do? No, she's like, no, this is it.
Yeah, he just hangs out.
Yeah. It's like, no, this is it. That's his full-time job. He does it every day. Yeah. Believe me, he does it every day.
Yeah, all day.
All day.
But before we move on, let me tell you about a sponsor for the OneDog Podcast, and that is Thomas & Weber Law at the Lake. Yes, my last name's Weber, and that's because my wife is the one that is the managing attorney at Thomas & Weber. She took that great Wingate education, turned it into a lawyer, and we now have a real estate law firm in the Lake Norman area. So if you are looking to buy a house and need a closing attorney in North Carolina, give Thomas & Weber a call.
Recruiting's done. We're getting ready to go into fall. Kids are getting ready. It's next week. They're coming on campus.
Yep. August 8th.
What do you kind of think about that? It's first time they're coming back. You've been doing this for a long time, so it's not new to you, but it's new of them coming back underneath your tutelage of being the head coach. So what do you kind of see with them coming back? What are your hopes and expectations with these guys coming back to camp?
Gosh, first of all, it's so much of like the first couple of days setting the tone, in terms of my personality, things that some of the information that I want to impart to them. Some of it's business, some of it's psychological, some of it's, setting ourselves up for success. So the first few days are the ones that I'm like right now going, okay, through my head, okay, this meeting, that meeting, what I'm going to say here, when can I get to this? The offense and defensive meetings that take care of themselves, but it's the organizational cultural building pieces that you're starting to spin your mind around. Because now I'm not just talking to the defense. Now I'm talking to the offense. I'm talking to the special teams players. So, and then you're starting to, obviously look at it from the standpoint of, okay, where were we at last year with this? Are we missing anything that needs to be taken care of? Do I need to get this ice vendor to come in and bring, ice for the ice bath? So it's just a conglomeration of things that you're just kind of going through and saying, okay, can we get to practice yet? Can I just get them on the field?
Let me get to the thing I like.
Yeah, let me get to the good stuff and start building this program and start trying to get us prepared to play this tough schedule that we got coming up. And, we've had a bunch of guys that were up here this summer. They were working hard. We weren't able to touch them or work with them, but you could see them every once in a while out the window where, they're taking it and going like, we know we got a good schedule this year. They're excited about it. They can't wait to get back on the field and start to perform. So you get that building excitement too. It's like, okay, once you start transitioning away from being the CEO and now you get to go back to be the, short wearing ball cap, football coach guy, then you're starting to go, okay, yeah, this is getting back in my element.
Yeah, no. So, kind of speaking of that schedule, we've been good, obviously, but we haven't been conference champs in a few years.
Yep.
That's the goal. That's the expectation. What are your, it's always bad to predict, but where do you kind of see the team going this year? Kind of what's your hopes and expectations and all that?
And that's one of those things from a coach speak standpoint. I said this, like, it's preseason, so it's the season of optimism right now.
Yeah,
every program is thinking we're going to win the conference championship. So obviously, just like anybody else, that's the goal. You want to try to go out and win that conference championship. I think at the end of the day, though, it really gets back to the real part of what, hey, people say this is coach speak. Well, it's the truth. We got to go out there every single day and we got to earn it. I love to talk to the guys about, every NFL team, every college team, every high school football team, anybody that's competing, you come in and your level's here. There's the ceiling is the sky. And it's every day that you work or don't work and how much you don't put in or how much you do put in that changes that ceiling, And so we have to go out there and attack it that way. Like, do not leave a day where we didn't do as much as we can. And then when we get the opportunities to go out there and compete, we got to lay down where it is. I mean, the South Atlantic Conference I think is one of the most competitive conferences in Division II football. The games are always tight. It's like watching NFL football. There's probably going to be one or two scores. You got to find a way to win the details. But obviously, you want to win them all. So that's going to be the chase, is to try to go out there and try to win every single week, be 1-0, and hopefully get to the playoffs again.
Now, you've got a little different scheduling philosophy, I think, than what we've had in the past. We're starting off with a average opponent. They're pretty good. It's Delta State first game. I mean, they've won national championships. They're almost a mainstay in Final Four and playoffs in Division II. So, what's your philosophy or how is that kind of going into it, changing the schedule of some?
Well, and don't forget, we're starting with UNCP first, and they're
That's
actually
right.
the first game, and they were a 7-8 win team last year. Obviously, Delta State was number one in the region, and then we jump into the South Atlantic Conference. It's really just more so about the fact, can you get the strongest schedule possible? Kind of the same way with like the trying to get into the college football playoff. You got to take into consideration some of the opponents that you're playing. Some of it's a little bit more business related in terms of like, getting contracts signed. But at the same time, you're looking at it going, okay, well, this opponent adds to our strength of schedule. Does it put you in harm's way? Yes. But if you find a way to get some of those wins, then it gives you a great chance at the end of the season to make sure that you can earn a playoff spot.
When you're also kind of getting playoff experience right at the beginning. It's like, this is what you guys are going to expect. If you can play with these guys or beat these guys, we're there, guys.
Yeah. And it's a tone setter to play those type of games early in the season to say, okay, this is where we're at. And, and here's the thing about it too, is, we the year that we made the run in the playoffs, we lost a couple games or, a game or two early. And it's a chance to say, okay, these are the mistakes we made. We can now correct those after playing some great opponents and set us up for a better run. So there's a lot of positives that can come out of it. You obviously have to have a mature team that can understand that, hey, you're going to be put in harm's way with not playing somebody that you're expected to beat by playing somebody that you don't know if you're going to beat. And it's going to be you're going to have to go out there and fight, and iron sharpens iron. You play the best, and hopefully makes you play at your best.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to see how the schedule changed, because I'll tell you what, it was real nice going into week 7 and 8 when we were always 7-8-0. That was a lot of fun. That was fun football. It's fun to win. So hopefully we can continue that with a lot harder opponents here.
Yeah.
Looking at the team, what are you kind of seeing with the team? Like where are you? Where are some of our strengths? Where are new faces that are coming in, so they're kind of untested? What's the team look like for us?
Well, I think you're going to see, a really dynamic receiving core this year for us. I'm not going to necessarily say names and put that kind of pressure out there, but I think we got a really good young group of wide receivers that are coming out there this year. That a lot of these guys are going to be getting their first opportunity to be option number 1 and option number 2 from that standpoint. I think from a offensive standpoint, we have a chance to be, very explosive this year. We're looking forward to, seeing those guys go out there and execute and have a lot of fun and put some points on the board and all that good stuff. And then, obviously defensive line, front 7 wise, we're returning a lot of experience there, a lot of people with a lot of accolades. We've got a number of all conference players up front coming back between Brian Bordeaux, Marquise Fleming, Daniel Morrison. We got Dontorian Best. We got Jacon Edwards. Like, these guys have been around forever.
Right.
So we're hoping to still be like we have been in previous years, very solid, very dominant at times up front. And then in the back end, we got a bunch of new guys coming. So we're going to have to use that front 7 to kind of, help those guys out.
It definitely helps when you got a pretty good front 7 with pressure to, alleviate the new guys.
Yeah. Well, and that's every level of football.
Of course.
Every level. So, and while those guys get established, because we got a couple of new parts and pieces that are coming back there, that'll be in our system for the first time. So, giving them a chance to gel. And so I think, looking at it, I feel like, we have a really strong roster. I think we got a really strong roster, and now we got to go out there and play.
Yeah, it's just about execution.
Yeah, it's about getting after and playing.
That's it. So kind of final thoughts on this thing. A big thing that we've been talking about in the off season, myself, you, Tyler Johnson, we've been kind of getting together talking about football alumni.
Yep.
What can we do as alumni to help the program? And you've been really pushing this whole alumni thought and get together. So kind of walk everyone through of what we're thinking about with alumni and how we can help.
Well, and I think that's a great. I mean, we've been here forever, and there's a large number of alumni that are out there before we've been here, and we just never have gotten a chance for all of us to get together. So I think the first opening salvo was trying to do the alumni cookout.
Mm-hmm.
Just throw it out there for as many members that we could get out there as possible. And just say, let's just get together. Let's just have a cookout like a family. Guys getting to know guys from different eras. There's the 70s and the 80s and the early 90s guys. And then you got the early 2000 Joe Wright guys. And you got the late 2000 Joe Wright guys. And some of these guys know each other. Some of them don't. And so we're just looking at trying to build a deal where when guys come back and they're at the games, we just have bulldog men.
Mm-hmm.
We're all Wingate football bulldog men. Then the other thing is obviously, just being able to help the program out with just being able to reach out to the alumni association and say, hey, look, we might need a sled fix. We may need money towards creating ice for the guys after practice, or, hey, we'd like to get a couple more pop-up sleds, things that are not necessarily budgeted for, or things that come up, and being able to just to turn to the family and say, hey guys, can you get together? Everybody give up, if you could give $20 on a large group of people, we could go out and do a couple of things. Really would like to increase the amount of apparel that we give out to guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now that I'm in this chair and I see how much things cost, I was like, wow, these t-shirts are high.
Yeah. I just did a run of for our law firm, it was like 20 shirts and it came up to almost $1,000 with after the embroidery and this and that. And if you want to get nice stuff, and
you want to get nice stuff,
you got 150 guys.
Yeah. And we got 213.
Holy Moses.
Yeah. So
that costs some money.
That does cost some money. So, and I think those are the things that matter a lot. Everybody wants a t-shirt, everybody wants a hat, everybody wants a pair of shorts. And, we like to be able to try to do little things with those guys, but obviously you got to get, you need funding for some of those things. So between just wanting to get the guys back together and trying to see the alumni base so long after I'm gone from here, this is established. Like Wingate football will always have the Wingate Football Alumni Association where, hey, they get together and we'll go over to the nice community house now on campus, whether that's homecoming, the first game, you guys say, hey, Coach Jordan, we're going to be at community house in April for the spring game. Come on down and hang out with us. Just things like that. And just trying to keep building what we have here. Yeah, we're trying to come up with some ideas of what we can do to, build that camaraderie, build the community around that. And, we haven't really come up with a great way, but right now, if some of these football alumni are listening and they're like, oh, well, I want to put my name in there to be notified with things. Do you have a place that they can? Yeah, you can you can email me and then I can start to work with Bill Nash and start building continue to update our database. That's the big thing. Yeah. We got to get names, emails, phone numbers, update the database. So we social can keep media everyone, accounts, all that stuff, because we'll run a number of events where we'll post it on Instagram or Facebook or whatever it may be, but we don't have everybody's connection. We don't have everybody's username, so we can't hit the audience that we're looking for all the time. So there may be people that we've done a few things that didn't even know we were doing them because we just don't have the connections. Yep. So just again, building the database up so that we can say, okay, we've captured as many folks as we can. And just get information out. Hey, we're doing this year. We're doing this at this time of the year. Hey, come back for this game, and then be able to just keep building from there. So. Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think we've got something special here at Wingate, especially football, which is, obviously near and dear to my heart. So whatever we can do to help continue building that camaraderie and community and maintain it for a lifetime, that's the goal. Well, every time you play college football with somebody on the field, you build a connection with them because you're doing something difficult. Yeah. And then when your time is done, some of the most fond memories you have in college are just hanging out in the locker room with your buddies. That's awesome. Yeah. So to be able to try to start seeing those guys get back together again, at least on campus, I think that would be great if we can start getting that established more. Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, Coach Jordan, we wish you luck in first season as a head coach. Expect a lot of wins. Yeah. Expect a lot of excitement. And, we'll see everyone on the next episode of OneDog Podcast. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.